Hello, my name is Hollow, and welcome to episode 2 of Learn to Play. In this video we're going to be talking about common terms. Common terms is something that you will encounter in every game, and it's really important to know all of these terms as soon as possible, because if you know about these terms it can mean the difference between you dying and you living, and you being able to save the life of your teammate as well. Firstly, we're going to talk about areas on the map. The map can be divided into two main areas. These are the lanes and woods. There are 3 lanes and 2 wood areas. Each team gets 1 wood area. Let's talk about some abbreviations that the players will use in game. Mid. This is the middle lane, the line travelled by creep that follows the centre of the map. Top. This is the top lane, the line travelled by the creep that goes west and top portion of the map. Bot. This is the opposite of top, the line travelled by the creep through the bottom and east portions of the map. Woods. These are the areas between lanes where you can find neutral creep. Jungle. This is the same as woods. Players will occasionally call woods woods and also occasionally call woods jungle. Alright, now that we've got those basics out of the way, we're going to talk about item abbreviations. This part is nowhere near as important, but it's still very useful to know, and through the magic of editing we're going to try and blast through this, and hopefully you'll learn something from it. AC, this is Assault Cuirass. Axe or Agha, Aghanim Scepter. BKB, Black King Bar. Blink, Blink Dagger. BOT, Boots of Travel. Donkey, Courier. Deso, Desolator. DR, Divine Rapier. Hex, Grinsel's Scythe of Vice. HOTD, Helm of Dominator. HOT, Heart of Tarask. Mech, Mechanism. MOM, Mask of Madness. Phase, Phase Boots. PT, Power Treads. ROB, Ring of Bacillus. ROR, Ring of Regeneration. ROH, Ring of Health. Sheepstick or Sheep, Grinsel's Slice of Vice. SMY, Sangun Yasha. Vlad's, Vladimir's Offering. And those are just some of the item abbreviations you'll see in game, and they'll really help you understand what players are trying to say to you, and if they ever suggest items for you to get, depending on the game. Moving swiftly on to basic need to know terms. We're going to start with farm. Farming gold by farming creep. This basically means that a player is constantly last hitting, and they're last hitting creep. And they're doing it so much that they're entirely concentrating on it to get 100% of the creep gold. They're doing this for a long time or most of the game, and they're completely dedicated to getting those creep last hits. That's what is known as farming. This is something you'll see hard carries do because farm and gold is very important to them. Focus. This means to concentrate all your attacks on a specific target. For example, if someone was to say focus Lion, this would mean that they want you to use most of your abilities and attacks on Lion at the start of a fight to get him out of the way as the primary target. They could also say focus Tower to get rid of a tower in a team fight and then just back out. Harass. This is the idea of putting pressure on your enemy by attacking them via auto attacks or spells. This is most commonly found in laning and rarely found outside of laning phase. Harassing is basically the art of attacking an enemy in front of you in your lane to make him an easier gank target, or just to prevent him from freely farming. Something that you might see a player say would be harass Faceless Void, meaning they want you to try and attack Faceless Void whenever you can come in range with skills or auto attacks. Juke. Juking means to use maneuvers to avoid line of sight and dip in and out of fog of war to avoid attacks. An example shown here will show you how to juke effectively. This is a very important thing to know how to do and understand, because it could mean you avoiding death in a really important team fight, avoiding being ganked, or basically just try and tell when someone's trying to juke you and being able to counteract his movements and predict where he's going to move. Pull. This is creep pulling. Getting creeps from a neutral camp to follow you into a path and lane and have your lane creeps attack these creep. Shown here in this example is an effective use of doing a pull. Why would we pull? Well, in a pull, most of the time, lane creeps will die, meaning there's less XP for the enemies in lane, less last hits, so less gold potential. You're slowing down how fast they progress, and also saving your team a lot of damage. Spam. This is to spam your spells. This is basically repeatedly using a certain spell many times. Spam Power Shot. This is Windrunner's long-ranged ability for extreme harassment. Often Windrunners will use this ability a lot to keep enemy players low and keep up that harass for possible ganks. Rosh, meaning Roshan. This means that an ally wants you to go check out Roshan. This could be to go attack it, to take it for your team, or opposite of this, the enemy team is attacking Roshan and you need to go defend it. Gank, bringing several heroes to a specific lane to attack specific heroes and help bring them down. B, standing for back. If your allies start spamming in chat B, it means they want you to get out of there immediately. This would often mean that you're being ganked and you need to really get out of there. TP is standing for teleport. This is for you to use Scroll of Teleport or Boots of Travel to come assist. For example, TP to mid now, meaning they want you to help attack mid or defend mid. Def, standing for defend. Pretty self-explanatory if you ask me. An example of this would be TP to def mid, so you teleport to mid tower and defend mid tower. Push, travelling down a lane or up a lane as a team to work together to fight and kill enemy structures. There are a bunch of rune abbreviations that we're not going to touch on too much just now, as said in a previous video that we're going to touch on them later in videos as we get more advanced. However, as an example, DD is double damage rune. A very important one is hero missing and returning calls. Miss, or SS. This means missing. This is a warning from your team to let you know that an enemy hero has gone out of view and might be attacking a different lane, and it's time to be careful. Usually said with a hero name, such as Axe SS or Axe Miss, and that's how they let you know that someone's out of their lane. MIA. This is the same meaning as miss. RE. This means returned. This is the opposite of miss and an MIA call. This is to let you know that the person that was missing has now returned to lane and that you need to know that they're there and you don't need to be as concerned anymore. Hero descriptions. Nuke. A very generic term for any spell that does high, quick damage in a burst. Nuke them just means to throw all of your damage at a specific person in a short burst immediately. Ult. This stands for ultimate. Any hero's level 6 ability, or R is referred to as their ultimate. This is out of mana. Don't expect any more spells from this person because it means they can't physically cast them anymore. Mana used on its own often means that this person is CD. This means cooldown. This is usually interpreted as someone's letting you know that a move is still on cooldown and they can't use it yet, so you shouldn't engage yet, or something along those lines. For example, Ult CD 30 seconds. This stands for my ultimate is on cooldown, it won't be back off cooldown for 30 seconds, please wait those 30 seconds for my ultimate to come off cooldown. Abbreviations like that save a lot of time in the middle of a team fight. Fed, feeded, and farmed. This is a stack of items, meaning a specific hero that they're talking about has got many powerful items and therefore that hero is now very powerful and very hard to kill. An example of this would be Juggernaut is stacked, Juggernaut is fed. This means that Juggernaut has a lot of items and is very hard to kill and potentially doing a lot of damage. Stack. When a creep camp is stacked multiple times. Usually in each spawn of creep, there is only one stack of creep. However, you can stack them, shown here, and this is known as stack. If someone asks you to stack creep and give you specific instructions of which creep to stack, that's what they mean. Finally, we're going to talk about game modes and commands. Right now, Dota 2 doesn't have a full list of Dota 1 game modes and commands, but we're going to try and cover the most common ones and commands that are already implemented, or will at least be implemented in the future as well. Game modes. AP or all pick. Each player is allowed to pick a hero from any tavern. All random. Each player is given a random hero from any tavern. Random draft. 20 random heroes from any tavern are selected and players take turns picking from them. Single draft. Each player chooses from one of 3 individual random heroes. Captain's mode. Blue and pink take turns from banning heroes, then take turns picking heroes. These heroes are then chosen by members of their team. Game commands. There are dozens of game commands you can enter during the game, although only in single player. Most common game commands right now are the following. Level up increases your hero level. However, you cannot de-level. The max is 25. Respawn respawns your hero at the fountain, even if he wasn't dead. Refresh refreshes or resets your mana, cooldown, HP, and anything else of your hero. Gold. For example, gold 1000 increases your gold by the number you typed in. In this example, it would be an extra 1000. However, max gold allowed is 16383. Item. For example, item blade mail. This would just give you the item blade mail. Start game. This skips the timer to the first creep spawn. Create hero. Example of this would be create hero Mirana. This would create a Mirana that you can entirely control. However, this bot is idle and doesn't do anything unless you are controlling it, but it does spy items in the beginning. Level bots. This levels all bot heroes on your side by whatever number you give. Give bots. It gives a bot an item depending on what you type in. WTF and un-WTF. Spawn neutrals, it just respawns a neutral creep. Spawn creeps, it spawns a wave of creep. However, if you do it too much, there are going to be too many creeps at once in the game, and the server will end up disconnecting you. Alright, let's break it off into the conclusion. After making yourself familiar with everything presented in this video and the previous video, you're very close to breaking away from the beginner's bracket and becoming an intermediate Dota player. With this video, we're concluding the beginner's part of our guides and transferring to more advanced techniques. We're going to get you to the point where you've got no problem following what's going on screen. Alright, with that, my name's been Hollow, and I'll see you next video.